Welcome to this Mastery Empowerment course from New Earth One Network. This is designed exclusively for your higher self connection and embodiment.
So glad you've joined us. Thank you so much for making the trip on your phone or on your computer, wherever you might be. For this series, we're focusing on cosmic rebirth topic. And now the Earth is entering a new phase of ushering in more supportive energies. So this really is an opportune time for those of us who wish to really make a quantum leap in our transformation. So it's not just about turning over a new leaf or setting resolutions. Well, those things are important. It's about making commitments and receiving the support that we need to help us on our spiritual journeys. There's literally new, fresh energy coming in from the earth to support us. Our intention for this Academy for the Soul Discovery Series is that it will help you find your own spark to your own cosmic rebirth, to help you on your journey to wholeness. So right now, let's all set the intention that we get whatever message the universe wants us to hear as we listen to the incredible speakers who are on this show, sharing their wisdom and gifts with all of us. And of course, today we have one of those speakers, a very, very special guest. We're talking with Christel Hughes today. Welcome, Christel.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Oh, yes. Oh, my heart is so happy to be here. I can just kind of sink down into this space. It's so beautiful to have all of you here and to feel all of you. And so I know today is going to be something special, and I encourage you to just be fully present. We're talking about intimacy, but a specific kind of intimacy. So, allow yourself to settle down, light your candle, get your water, tea, and let's be fully present today. All right.
Christel Hughes is a multidimensional visionary, medium, and multisensory, energetic intuitive, known as the spiritual trainer to the stars, specializing in energetic healing and rapid transformation for celebrities and individuals throughout the world. We are always in awe because of Christel's lightning-fast and laser-focused intuitive readings that go directly to the core of the issue. She pinpoints it immediately. And a lot of you will actually experience that. If you haven't experienced that yet, if you are going to get a reading from Christel, you'll experience that today on the call today. Christel's work has broadened to include connecting with Archangel Metatron and mediating for Metatron's cube to instantly shift a person's consciousness, undoing mental, emotional, and physical limitations, as well as opening up their higher channels of communication. Christel's purpose is to channel and shine light into the world and to operate as a conduit of divine truth, working with people as they identify and develop their gifts and step into their purpose work. Yeah, beautiful. And today, Christel is going to be talking about Sacred Heart Opening Intimacy. And you can look forward to learning the shift that will create ripples out into the world, discovering the secrets to creating real intimacy with others and a level of intimacy that lasts infinitely. Also, how to use heart power so that you can come to feel comfortable being yourself. And also why your open-hearted nature gets shut down and almost forgotten. Ouch. Yeah, that one's sad. So we'll find out all about that. And then, of course, Christel will be doing live readings. Yeah, beautiful. Christel, you've done such good work in the world. And, could you please share a little bit about your story with us, and how did you get to this point of being able to, energetically see people and help them open up their intuitive gifts?
Energetically see people. Yeah, that's true. Oh my goodness. I came through a dark period actually to finally open up my gifts. And part of that period of going through a loss of a marriage really triggered me and kind of sparked something very strong and also very demanding. Okay, so those moments when it feels like you've just lost everything, but it gets you on your knees to actually pray to the divine and say, hey, what's going on here? I had one of those moments, and it was a very demanding moment where I called in a lot of the higher level beings, now that I look back, to witness that as a declaration of like, I know that I am meant to bring something. And I know that this failure of this marriage doesn't make me who I am. So I am demanding to know who I am right now. And I'm demanding to know my purpose, right? And so I spent some time going down that path of healing my heart, and allowing myself to reclaim the truth of myself just as a human, because I was really in a dark place. My self-esteem had just been shot. And I had given my all. I was in that relationship of like, as long as I just change this about myself, maybe that'll work. Or if I do this, maybe that'll work, or if I, turn my life into his life and support him, maybe that will work. And it didn't work. And so I was at a loss. And I knew that when I had enough, that I would have to get out. And so that moment did come. And so I found myself totally broken down. But I think that in that broken down space, and then my being kind of coming into and demanding, it allowed that energy to rush to me. And it allowed everything to kind of converge in that moment into a purpose, into a mission. And that mission was to really discover who I was. And I have many stories about this, but really what happened was I started learning about behavior. I was wanting to search for how to heal myself, and I started studying with two different great, masters of energy, and one was of behaviorism and clinical hypnotherapy, and the other was of metaphysics. And I started running into people that could see me, and they would say crazy things like, oh my God, you are clairvoyant, you're a medium, you have this ability to heal. And I would, just look at them like they were crazy. And it was actually very frustrating. If any of you out there, like, I know I have these abilities, but I don't know how to bring them out, it can be frustrating. And I started working with a healer, and she told me, she said, you're going to have a shift. And once you have this shift, everything's going to change. You're going to have total faith. You're going to be in your power. And it really happened. And when that happened, all the clairs opened at once, and they were all able to communicate with the other clairs, right? So my clairaudience is what really started opening up first, and having the experience of being able to communicate with people that had crossed over. But at this one moment in time, everything came together, and I could see and hear and know and feel, and it's just gotten more clear now to where I actually can work with people holographically, work with their energy fields, and so that's how I came to this place, is that I just never gave up, even through the frustrations, even through the questioning of myself, even through those moments where, I thought that maybe, I was going to have to give up and do something else. no, I just kept going. And now, you know, you've heard that the birth of Academy for the Soul came through me, and that was way back in like 2008, 2009. So we've been doing this like 2008 to now, right?
10 years.
It's been a while. Yeah.
Decades.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's been wonderful to watch it grow and to help others go through that same process.
Yeah, and you know, you can really pick up from what you're saying that, you know, you're very, you know, you're strong. You know, you continue, you push through. You know, you have this conviction and this knowing and a belief that really drives you. And you know, I think that's a big part of that, because you really believe that your purpose work is to, you know, work with people to help them open up their intuitive gifts and truly be an offering in the world, so that, you know, you're an offering to the world. Yeah. You know, one thing that we've spoken about intimacy today, and, you know, I've heard you talk about infinite intimacy. Can you tell us a little bit about what you mean by infinite intimacy?
Oh, it's so important. Okay, so so I want to first just let everyone know, you know, intimacy has nothing to do with, you know, what you know about someone, how you have, you know, spent time with them or interacted with them, how long you've known them. Intimacy in itself is a state of being. It's a state of being with others from a space that allows each to be their true, authentic self. And so I'm talking about intimacy as a vibratory feeling tone. It's a frequency that is created. And then that frequency that's created is transmitted, and it penetrates a space. It fills it up, so that you're in a place of this kind of pure oneness. You're in a place of awareness. You're in a place of absolute resonance as one heart. So it begins to have you feel a full sense of love. It has you feel a sense of safety. It has you feel that you are accepted, but really thinking of it as a vibrational frequency. And it's important that we kind of give words to what occurs during this time when we arrive at that place of infinite intimacy. So I call this a sacred heart open intimacy, right? So many of us, unfortunately, have experienced things that have shut down our heart. And like I said, I experienced that same thing. Betrayal, deception, your trust that you gave away has been crushed, right? You put your trust in something or someone, and it was crushed. Feelings of inadequacy, maybe even due to, you know, someone else's projections, their judgments. But as we transition out of that pain, as we begin coming to know ourselves and beginning to explore deeper within our own being and who we really are, we can experience this sacred heart opening. And as you do that, it's like you step into another world. There's another world for you to experience life through. It's almost like having a different lens, right? So that you can completely immerse in closeness, in oneness, in communion.
Wow, it sounds like an amazing place. Amazing.
It is, and it's real.
Yeah.
This is what we're wired for. This, you see, this is what we're meant for, and this is why we keep going. We really are on a search. We're really exploring things to come back into the depth of our own truth.
Yeah, beautiful. So, you know, why aren't we there yet? Why aren't all of us there yet? What are some of the things, or what is the number one thing that gets in the way of this state of being, of being there, experiencing that sacred heart opening?
Yeah, because I know that, as I'm talking about it, internally you are, moving things around in your mind, and you're kind of saying, ooh, maybe I had an experience of that once. Maybe I have felt that, but it was fleeting. And, what I've seen, and of course, I would love to be able to flip a switch and, to have everyone feel the depth of that as a consistent, constant reality. For myself, there's a big part of me that's just always living there. It doesn't move out of that place. But what I can tell you from what I have seen is that, and I include myself in that, is that the wounded heart is this thing that gets in the way. And when I talk about this wounded heart, it's having experienced some kind of disconnect. And again, the not trusting, not being able to be fully comfortable, to feel comfortable being vulnerable, and to have an imbalance in the masculine and feminine, right? So we see that wounded heart actually has caused this distrusting heart. And the masculine and feminine within yourself have disengaged. There's some kind of disconnection, and that causes you to not be able to be vulnerable. And that stems from a feeling of unworthiness. So you start to create these inauthentic aspects in life. You're not actually even there anymore. These inauthentic aspects are presenting themselves as you. And they have created these protective protocols, right? It's like they've got their strategy and they know that strategy. And these aspects take you over. They take over your behavior. And so I'm here to really share with you and to expose, if we can be brave enough, if we can acknowledge the woundedness, that's the first step, really. If we can be brave enough to say, okay, Christel, I'm willing to take the time to look at the woundedness of my heart. And some of us have had lives, it hasn't been my life in this lifetime, but some of us have had lives where you say, well, I've never had anything really major happen. But what I want you to recognize is that we come in with fears. We actually do. We come in with certain types of fears. I won't go too deep into that, but we incarnate with these, and sometimes, yes, we're bringing them, carrying over from a past life, or again, our ancestors bring that. So we have these ways of coming up with this strategy, with this agenda, and we have to expose that, and we have to admit that. And then on the other hand, I know that I talk about the wounded heart, and you're saying, heck yeah, Christel, I'm going to do that right now. I can't stand that I have it. I feel those personas, and, and I'm in this kind of push-pull situation. Am I ever going to really be able to trust again? Will I able to really give myself over? Because I already tried that and it didn't work. And I got crushed. My heart got broken. And I feel for you because it happened to me. But I really know the path to get you there and to heal and to really start to build, back this bond of trust.
Yeah, and that trust is such a critical component, right? I mean, it's, you have to trust that, you're not going to get crushed. And you kind of have to accept and make yourself vulnerable. But, speaking about trust, how do we build that trust back up?
Yeah. Well, it's a process, right? It's a process. It doesn't have to take a long time, but you have to know what that process is. So this is a process, and it requires that we come from a place within the heart. Okay, so that's the first thing. Just Now just say, I am willing. I'm willing to go back into that wounded heart. I'm willing to go into that place, because let me tell you, as we heal the wounded heart, we don't heal it from our wounded nature. We heal that wounded heart from a sacred temple within our being. There is a sacred temple within our heart space that has never known pain. It has never been wounded. It cannot be torn apart. It cannot be ripped to shreds. It cannot be crushed. You see? And so we need to find our way into that space. And then we need to discover how to stay in that space, regardless of how we're being treated by others, regardless of what's going on. And this is called the Sacred Heart Opening Practice. It is a practice, okay? So it's important. I mean, things happen throughout our day that have us, pop out and respond from the wounded heart, rather than, oh, wow, I'm sitting in the sacred temple and I'm recognizing something's going on outside of the temple. What is that? And just inquiring about what that is, right? And I'm not talking about disassociation. I'm talking about a state of full presence and awareness. But, if someone, let's say, just sent an email out of nowhere that totally triggers a persona in you, you're going to immediately react to that. And you've taken yourself out of that sacred heart space, maybe even closed up shop, and even forgotten that you even have that temple, right? Now you become a different person altogether. It's like, whoa, who is that, right? The mind strays. You begin to kind of take, this path, or I should say the persona, the inauthentic persona that's reactive takes you down a path of projection. You might feel hurt. You might start to blame them. You might come up with a scenario in your mind, or even think about what they, the point of view they were even coming from, and it may not be true. But maybe it takes you back to this little girl or little boy, or throwing a tantrum inside, or having to defend yourself as an automatic response. So at this point, no one can reach you, right? The divine's there, but you're not even available for the divine. And so it is vitally important that we train in the Sacred Heart Opening practice, right? What would it be like if you got that email, but your first reaction was one of maintaining that sense of awareness, recognition, and absolute oneness? Who can do that? Who of us can do that, right? That's what we're here, and we're training ourselves. So we need to learn to relate with our own masculine and feminine within our own being, right? What's happening is, sometimes the masculine kind of comes to the rescue when something like that happens and we get triggered. It's like masculine is like, hey, don't you mess with me, right? And the feminine gets so wounded that she just crumbles, right? And what's happening is, if our own masculine and feminine begin to allow the personas, the behavioral patterns, the paradigms, these beliefs that we have, if our own masculine and feminine are not strong and really have allegiance to our higher self, then they are going to have an allegiance to these personas, and they are going to not allow you to feel strong and powerful and in a place of presence and feeling comfortable being vulnerable. So the personas, what I found are these three major personas. And these are the primary personas that we have to address. These personas that are the controller, the controlling persona. You're trying to control what's going to happen in a world that is out of control, in a world that's chaotic, right? You're trying to protect yourself from every little thing, and especially empaths, highly sensitive people. right? It's like that protector, don't mess with that protector, you know, like you've now brought that protector front and center. Also, you have to look at survival and that one that will do anything to survive. So these are the ones that really mess us up and take us out of those sweet moments of being intimate, of connecting, looking deeply into someone's eyes and finding your own soul through them. And some of these personas, I mean, you might recognize them as your own protective mechanisms that defend you. I mean, think about relationships that you've been in and, you know, maybe this is not, you know, yours or maybe you've experienced this, but that persona that just clams up, you know, the wall goes up and they won't talk to you, right? Or you might have experienced a relationship that a person just ignores you, walks away, you know, and maybe you're the one that does that. You walk away when your partner really wants to connect, right? Or maybe you become something else. You know, I had a client that became Ice Woman, you know, it was like, whoa, she's just so cold all of a sudden, you know. So we've got these personas, and sometimes you find that in relationship when you're really confronted, maybe you keep it to yourself and then you ruminate, right? And you allow yourself to get heated and angry and frustrated inside, and then maybe later you bring it up when it's so inappropriate and then put it in their face, you know, instead of communicating in the moment when it's up and when it's happening, right? Sometimes we have personas that pretend like nothing's wrong. I don't know what you're talking about. Or it checks out. It totally ignores what's going on and becomes disengaged. Do you know how frustrating it is to try to create an intimate relationship with someone who's just literally checked out and disengaged? So frustrating, right? Also something that we have to look at now, especially with our little gadgets, with intimacy, is that, you know, we can have personas that begin to become addicted to something else, watching TV, self-medicating with food, right? Being on our gadgets. We are not allowing ourselves to have those moments and to really be responsible for creating, you know, this beautiful context for intimacy, for being together, right? It's sitting at the you know, table when you go out and having your phone there, and that phone becomes more important than the person that's sitting across from you, right? So we have to watch out. Also, some of the behaviors that I've seen, right, is that you really stop being present to your mate emotionally. You become unavailable. You become emotionally unavailable. And it's like, you know, they're trying to get through to you, and maybe they act out to try to stir your emotions. I know the feminine does this, right, to the male, to the masculine, right? So the feminine, if she's not getting engagement emotionally, she will create some kind of issue, okay? And she will try to create an excuse to have the masculine engage with her, to become emotional. She'll even take it if it's angry because, hey, at least there's some response, okay? Also, now the feminine sometimes can become irritable, right, and can get crunchy. This is what I call it, getting crunchy, you know, like snapping at their mate or a person, right? And I wanted to speak to this as well because this is something that really just brings the energy down. What happens is that you do it and you don't even like it in yourself, maybe, right? You just, it feels like it's just an automatic reaction. That other person just irritates you now when you once were like so connected and so, you know, passionate and so sensitive to each other. Now that sensitivity has turned into irritability. Don't touch me, you know, all of that. But it's your choice Okay? It really is your choice. In that moment, you get to choose how you're going to respond to that person, and if you're just going to go and get into this kind of crunchy mood, or whether you're going to actually shift and be available, right? So, we have to watch out also for closing down your body, restricting your body. And these personas, this is what they do. This is their agenda. There's really a fear that you're going to learn who I am and you're not going to like me. You're not going to think that I'm lovable. You're not going to be affectionate because you're going to see the real me. And so all of this whole thing is animated with the personas to have you ever feel that deep rejection of the wounded heart. You see?
Man, I think all of us
Wow.
can identify. Like, man, when you went through all those examples, I'm pretty sure that almost everyone could go, oh, yeah, that's me, or I can see that in myself, or my partner does that, but then I do this. So I think it's a really accurate portrayal of reality for a lot of people. But, we're here, Christel, to hear you show us, like, the way out of this, right? I mean, that's why we're
absolutely.
here. And then, everyone is dying to get readings. So there's a lot of people with their hands up. But before we do that, I do have a question for you, because the readings are going to be on masculine-feminine balance, right?
Okay, yeah.
And shadow
The
side,
shadow
right? Is that what you said, right?
Yeah.
So people have more context. Talk to us a little bit more before we take readings. We'll take readings after this. Talk to us about the importance of the masculine, feminine being balanced.
Okay, yeah. That's important because, we all are here. Our being desires to create intimacy, okay? And to feel a sense of passion for life, to feel an inner drive and passion for our mission, right? And to be able to have that in whatever way is best for us that we want to create that. Maybe it's with another person. Maybe we're finding that passion within ourselves and with the divine and bringing that out in a creation. And we have to have a healthy balance. So if you're carrying anything from the past, from that wounded heart, especially like grief, right? Loss. How many of us have not truly gone through the full grieving process because our personas don't let us? We'd rather turn off and cut someone off rather than, go through that grieving process and pretend like it never happened, oh, I don't really need that person in my life anymore, right? So we have underlying grief, anger, projections on either, the masculine and feminine within, and we have to watch out because if we don't balance our own masculine and feminine, what happens is then you attract into your world someone or some situation that's going to reflect that old pattern within your subconscious, okay? Also, when balanced, you feel loved, you feel cherished by the divine and by yourself, right? You start loving yourself. And then finally by others, right? Because you're whole, you start coming into that place. So you're not dependent upon what value another person gives you. Your own masculine and feminine begin this dance of intimacy. And the two engage in this beautiful dance that benefits and supports the best in each other, right? We want that in life. We want to show up for our friends, for our loved ones, so that we're bringing out the best in them and so that they're bringing out the best in us. But we have to have our own masculine and feminine doing that first. Each has a role to play for you to become you, to live out your dharma, your divine mission on this planet. And so balancing those allows you first to connect to your own soul and to the divine and to bring that to relationship, to bring that to your community.
Thank you so much for that. So one last question before we get to readings. we speak about the balance, but we also, because everyone's saying, oh, I need a balance, masculine, feminine, I want to be more balanced or balanced. But, what happens when someone is, overly masculine, feminine in the balance? So like, 70-30 or 80-20, what does that look like?
Yeah, this is our big struggle, and I just want everyone to know that it impacts your intuition. Your masculine and feminine balance. When I do those intuitive assessments, the first thing is looking at that point of perception and your masculine and feminine balance. Why? Because it makes a huge difference. You've got internal communication going on inside your own head, and it's between your masculine, feminine, and your personas. Okay, so let me just bring this down to if you're feminine, primarily, if you're kind of born in, and just for in general, I'm just going to say that women are usually more feminine, but, in this incarnation, if you've incarnated as a woman, that's not always the case, okay? But if you're primarily feminine and your masculine becomes overbearing, it's drowning out your feminine, right? It's shutting her down, and you're running a lot of masculine energy. If you are wanting to attract someone, and I'll just say, woman attracting male, okay? So if you're a woman and your masculine's overbearing, drowning out your feminine, then you're more than likely going to attract a man that's highly feminine, because you're already showing up as highly masculine. You're attracting someone highly feminine. And when you do that, you're taking on a certain responsibility. And sometimes then who you attract doesn't have those qualities of being responsible. And so maybe there's difficulty for them to generate income, and they're not as productive. They can't create a strong container for you. And Ian, this is frustrating for women sometimes, because they go, man, it's like, why do I have this wimpy man in my life? But they're not realizing that their own masculine is devaluing their own feminine. And it's not allowing that person to fully express their feminine side, right? So in fact, it may be that your own relationship is taking out your feminine and not seeing the worthiness of it, right? Mm. So how many times have I seen in sessions where the woman comes in complaining that her man's not stepping up and doing something. But what happens is that she's the one being obsessive and doing it, and maybe even doing it before he gets to it, right? So she's throwing things around and grabbing the trash, and taking the trash out, and you never take the trash out, and and that moment when she does that, it shuts him down. And and Ian, for, me, it's like, if I want my man to be masculine, and I'll give you an example, you guys, of what I do, because, Ian is my divine beloved. But if I want that masculine, I will just sit in the car and wait for him to open the door. So he'll come around and he'll open the door for me, right? He's in his masculine. He will do that for me. But I don't do it for myself, because I'm calling forth and creating this beautiful polarity between the two of us. And that has my feminine settle down, right? I settle down. I let him take care of it. So, but if I were to just rush over and to open the door going into a restaurant for myself, now I'm actually being more masculine, okay? I'm taking that action and opening that door and not allowing him to do that for me. That's just an example. So I'll just stand there and let him be the offering to my feminine. You see? So now the feminine is so valuable, because the feminine draws the manifesting energy of the two. So just to give you an idea, right, the feminine is highly tuned into the higher realms. And again, that's important with intuition, making the right choices, channeling the energy that's flowing, bringing in that passionate energy. Creative energy of the universe is what the feminine channels. So the masculine needs to be strong and to then be available to look to the feminine for that energy, to also be responsive when she says, ooh, I'm bringing you all this creative energy. What are you going to do with it? And then the masculine lays out that plan, right? And so the feminine is supported by flowing the energy into a container that the masculine has built, right? So in this way, the masculine creates a structure and the feminine begins to flow, right? Now, if there's too much energy of the masculine, the feminine body can restrict, become hardened, become uptight, become, really stiff, right? And you lose your sense of humor. You forget about the playfulness. You forget about your capacity to reflect light and beauty, right? Now, if you're running too much masculine energy as a man, you're burning yourself out, overworking, okay, not getting enough downtime. In relationships, you may not have the energy to engage with your partner. You might come home, turn on the TV, zonk out, become exhausted, space out, veg out on the couch, right? Not there, right? Men are here to penetrate, or I should say the masculine is here to penetrate the world, to penetrate the feminine, to make an impression, and to live on the edge, to challenge themselves beyond what's natural, right? So when the masculine is doing that, the feminine is like in awe, like, oh my God, look at him. He's so awesome, right? So there can be conflict within the man. His own feminine has been unsupportive of him, maybe even undervalued, right? If there's a man that is highly creative or musical and has this beautiful soulful expression that he wants to share, but he's not getting praise or acknowledgement, then he's shutting down, okay? And so we have to also watch out with the masculine running too much feminine energy, right? Yeah. So if you're masculine, you're running too much feminine, then you would attract a person, a partner that's controlling. And if it's a woman, it's a controlling woman that's going to undermine your decisions. She's not going to trust you, right? She's going to have to take over the task or lead the family, okay? So it would, the feminine, when she doesn't trust the masculine, she's constantly challenging that masculine. Not challenging you to support your growth, but challenging you to get you to show up. With the feminine, it's like we want the masculine to show up, right? To be consistent, to be reliable, okay? And you also have to look out for competition, right? So if you're a woman or if you're feminine but running too much feminine energy, then what happens is you kind of get flighty and floaty. It's like it's just all woo and flowy, and you can't get it together, and you can't bring a project to fruition. You see, does that help a little bit in explaining it for you, Ian?
Yeah, it does. It does, and I think that's going to help everyone as we launch into the readings, which is going to happen right about now.
Okay, let's go.
So we have Laurie, I think it's Laurie from Corvallis. This is your chance for a reading from Christel. No answer? Okay.
There she is.
Okay,
hello.
Oh, my gosh. Thank you. Hi.
I know, it's always such a surprise, isn't it?
It's amazing. It's a miracle. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Happen every day.
Okay. Woohoo. You want me to read your shadow side, your balance of masculine and feminine?
Yeah, anything you just talked about that's pertinent, I guess. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yeah, let me just check in. So just taking a look. So what we're seeing right now is we're seeing a transition you're going through. You're coming out of masculine that is in the shadow side. I'm seeing particularly a persona. And this masculine feels like it has to be the one to do things. And if it's not doing it, it's not going to get done. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So that masculine side, what happens is it can become frustrated. It's like, where is everyone? Where's my support? Okay? And so what I want you to do is I want you to work on first having the support of the feminine coming in and, start to visualize and bring that feminine support in. So your feminine is actually now starting to say, hey, what can I take off your hands? Okay? But your masculine needs to let her, right? If your masculine says, hey, you need to take a break right now and you need to, go for a walk, but your masculine is like, no, I can't do this. I've got to work on this thing. It's not going to get done. Then you're not living a balanced masculine and feminine. It can be a 5-minute walk. It can be a 10-minute walk. But your feminine knows what's going to refresh you, right? So that's what we're working on for you, okay? Really allowing your masculine to start to say, okay, I'm going to listen to her and I'm going to allow myself to be supported, and it'll start to balance you, all right?
Good. All right. Thank you.
Great. Thanks you.
Thanks, Laurie. Much love. Okay, let's go to Victoria, Texas.
Hello?
Hello.
It's you.
Hi.
It's you.
Oh, hey.
Okay, we got you. Okay, is it okay for me to check in and take a look at what's going on?
Yes, but before you do that, I just want to say I have really enjoyed hearing you speak about the masculine and feminine energies. Really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Oh, good. Oh, you're so welcome. So let me just take a look in for you, and what we're seeing is that your feminine actually is the one that feels misunderstood. She doesn't feel heard at times. There's been some past feelings of rejection, right? And the little girl, okay? This is what I'm seeing is the little girl persona of your feminine. She's really wondering, where is that true love? Where is that true adoration? Where is that true recognition of my gifts in relationship, right? Because what you've had in the past is that people turn and walk away from you. They don't want to hear it. They're not listening, okay? So your feminine, she's the one that really needs that loving attention and support, okay? So your masculine, right, needs to give her that loving attention, okay? So start to work within, right? That's what we're going to be doing in this program, is really teaching you and training you how to have your masculine and feminine work together. But she needs to have some love. Let her be loved up, okay?
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Tina.
Thank
Much love
you.
to you. Bye. Okay, so let's do a couple more. Let's go to whoever's in, it says Fort St. John, B.C., but it could be something else.
Ooh,
who's me?
I heard
Hi.
someone's there. Hi.
Yay, thanks for taking my call. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Hi, Sherry.
Okay.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi.
Yeah, would you like me to tune in for you?
I would love a reading. Yes, please.
Okay, so let's just see here. All right. So tuning in, checking to see. What we're looking at is your masculine energy isn't fully engaging with your feminine. Okay, it's like he's checked out and he comes and goes. And so she feels abandoned sometimes. And there's things that you feel like you're meant to do, but because your masculine comes and goes, you don't feel like you can really trust to move forward. And so you're kind of in this limbo, right? So, what are these things that you're really wanting to do? What are you aspiring to do?
Oh boy, lots of things. Yeah, lots of things. Well, following my heart.
Mhm. So what we've got to do is we have to have your masculine step up and say that he's willing to support you in a very strong way so that your feminine divine intuition is priority for you, right? Because what I'm saying is, you know, the universe is showing me you kind of standing there looking out, and I see that there's multiple paths for you, but this one path has you really actualize your gift and be able to bring that. And so what we have to do is we have to kind of bring all this energy so that your energy focuses on that one path, okay? And in that, now you can begin to explore. But if he's not present, you're not going to get the energy coming together to really bring all of it to help you have the momentum, you see, the motivation and the follow through to go down that path. Okay?
Yes, that makes total sense.
Yeah. So we're working on your masculine, okay? That's what we're going to be working on, is working on that masculine, okay? You're going to feel so good. Yay.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Sherry. Much love to you.
Yeah,
okay, talk to you again. You know, in a little while, we'll talk about how you help people through this, Christel, and I want to get to that fairly quickly. But before we do that, there are some lots and lots of web questions. So let's go through them fairly quickly. Okay. We'll take some of these, and so everyone knows we're not done with the readings yet. What we're going to do is we're going to do some readings. Then Christel's got something to share with us, and then we'll do some more readings. So I just want to keep you apprised of what we're doing, so that you know there's a chance for more readings later. Okay, so let's go to Tunde in North Lauderdale. If you can give her a reading on her heart, please.
Okay, so let me just tune in. All right, so what we're looking at right now is that your masculine is scared. He's running scared, okay? He feels like if you're going to force him to kind of pin down, or I should say he's going to feel pinned down if you force him to focus on your purpose, okay? So there's a twisted mental pattern, right? It's like he thinks that you're going to jail him up. He's not going to have the freedom if he focuses on his purpose. It's the opposite, you guys. When your masculine is focusing, then what happens is he gets to accomplish, and then that accomplishment gives him a sense of freedom. Freedom for the masculine is not running away, right? Freedom to the masculine is accomplishing something, moving through something, and coming out the other side and being able to check mark it off, right? So in the avoidance of accomplishing and literally just going through the steps to do it, what's happening is it's frustrating to your masculine. It's like, oh my God, I'm trying to get to freedom. So I better avoid that, having to nail down and get pinned down to do it. Right? So that's what's happening, Tunde. Your masculine running because he's thinking that, you know, there's no freedom in focus. There's more freedom in focus. Okay?
Thank you. So since we're speaking about intimacy, Kim from Hendersonville is asking, what's the primary blockage she's holding that is preventing her from creating real intimacy?
So this blockage that we're looking at is actually in the back heart chakra. And what I see is a protective mechanism. This is a protective mechanism from a past life. And what's happened is that you fell in love. I see that you had 2 children and you lost your 3rd child, okay? So there's a lot of grief that's still sitting there, and it's causing you to mourn, and it has a feeling of like there's someone out there I'm supposed to meet. Right? It's the old soul of your child that you lost.
Thank you. So this is Sind, C-I-N-D, from Evanston. Do I have the potential to attract a loving person capable of intimacy, or am I too damaged myself?
there's no such thing as being too damaged, okay? Ever. Your personas are what get damaged, right? Your lower self gets damaged. It's not you. But again, we have to take responsibility. You guys have to learn how to work with these personas, right? You need to learn how to take charge of them despite the woundedness, okay? So let me just take a looking at the golden grid and checking to see what your contract is. So your contract says that there's an opportunity for 3 very deep, loving relationships. So you're going to get to choose which one you want, okay? But again, I think that relationship starts with yourself. Let's heal you up. And when you really are healed internally, then you at least know that what you're attracting is someone that's also healed, okay?
Thank you. Right, everyone. So now, Christel, I'd like you to tell everyone how you help people through this with your program, Infinite Intimacy Program. And so, Christel, what I'd love for you to do, because we're not just talking about relationships here. We're talking about sacred intimacy. We're talking about something so much deeper. Can you really help people understand, why you put this package together and what this package does for people, and then go through some of the components?
Oh, yeah. This came through because I literally was woken up in the middle of the night. I was woken up in the middle of the night, and the universe gave me this plan, this process of help everyone build this bond of trust. And so, what I want to say is that in this program, I'm going to really bring you into a place where you can move beyond having this kind of, intimacy threshold, like this threshold for intimacy. And I want to just let you know, because each one of us has this in our programming. What I'm saying is that we feel comfortable opening up just so much, and then we get triggered. And when that trigger comes, the doors of our heart come slamming shut. And so this is created so that you can begin to come out of that. And I'm going to train you in the practice of being in the sacred heart space to stay open. And I know there's valid reasons for you not being open and vulnerable, right? Old relationship stories, it's like all of that old history. But we've got to create a new history. We've got to rewrite this history, right? So I'm going to address some major issues, and the issues in this that we're addressing and healing. I'm not just bringing things up in this program. Infinite intimacy requires that we look at those 3 primary personas that keep you detached, and we heal them. We shift the programming, okay? And we keep going until we unlock, right? Because what happens is that these personas keep you locked out of your own true sanctuary of your soul. They keep you from discovering your own divinity, your own worth, your own value. And so personas are different than defense mechanisms, right? Personas will really have you think and believe that they are you, that you are broken, you see? So we have to go deep into that, and I go through, we're going to have 3 live appointed calls. So we're going to be on there together, and we're going to literally shift these personas. We're going to release and clear those that are taking you, to that place of having to be controlling and sabotaging yourself, you see, and surviving and trying to protect yourself despite wanting to open. Because I know, despite your wanting, your desiring, your yearning for intimacy, these personas have a strategy for survival, okay? And they are taking you out. And sometimes it even leaves you stunned and shocked at your behavior or not being able to create something. And it's frustrating. So I'm going to take you through that. And I want you to also recognize that, this path, so we first do the persona work. We learn how to be in the sacred higher heart space, the sacred sanctuary, how to stay in there, keep your heart open. We learn how to have this dialogue between your masculine and feminine. So we literally go through that in this. Each call, you become aware of your energy in the exchange, right? And so you're no longer, on the one hand, kind of losing yourself in relationship, giving yourself away. You're learning how to trust. When do I? What does it feel like when it's healthy? What does it feel like when it's not? I'm going to train you how to do that, how to speak and live your truth in relationship. It's time to stop the pretending, and it's time to really be in your truth and know your truth. And then we're going to link up your masculine and your feminine, okay? And what this does is when you link them up and you engage them, you have a greater rate of receptivity. You bring in not just love from others. That's not what I'm talking about. This is a beautiful program of your soul evolving, okay? It's how to actually start to get the energy of that passion and creativity moving through you. It's intimacy with the divine, intimacy with yourself. And when we link that up and we support them communicating, you discover the energy flowing through what I call these gates. And I'll talk a little bit about them later, but really we have these gates. And we have to have the energy flowing through. It's an infusion process, do you see? The masculine fuses with the feminine, and you create this beautiful triad. It's a triangle in the sacral chakra area. And imagine one point is you, the other is your higher self, and the other is the divine. Or your masculine and feminine are connecting with your higher self. And the gates are blocked by this history, your history of, obviously like personal and collective wounds, right? Think sexual shame, being entered into without respect, being flirted and teased without real deep love, lack of praise, lack of appreciation, lack of gratitude, okay? Not getting compassion from someone that you've been in love with. These wounds go deep. Sexual abuse, our culture, our history of violence, suppression, you see, twisting of what the masculine and feminine is, right? So in the process, as we go through the calls, I'm literally supporting you with the 7 gates opening, healing. It unleashes a profound wisdom within you. Okay, creative energies that reside within you. As we heal them and we complete on the healing of the wounded heart to bring it to the sacred sanctuary, what happens is that you're no longer guarded. You don't have to be closed down due to the wound. You start to immediately open, right? So it's important because it attunes you to this authentic vibrational frequency of your sacred inner voice, all right? So that suddenly it can be known. It can be made manifest on this planet, okay? Women and men who are in this space of this deep womb resonance, it's literally this birth of a new self, but also a new humanity, all right? We're here to restore our connection to this web of life. And so this is what this program does. So we'll be together on those calls, the empowerment sessions. We're also going to be together live. You'll have intuitive readings. We're going to work on your masculine and feminine. In other words, I'm going to be doing intuitive readings for you, checking to see how well you're doing, okay? Along with this is what I absolutely love, and even if you've taken Infinite Intimacy before, this is brand new. We are going to go in and heal the wounded heart. We're going to have a magical, beautiful experience. This is, again, like one of those powerful experiences that I bring with Metatron's Cube. It's going to be up to 2 hours. It's a restorative healing call so that you can go in, and this is your time for your sacred heart opening. Do you see? So we're going to call forth those frequencies, get to that holographic realm. We're going to bring all the broken pieces of the heart. We're going to start to lighten them, illuminate. You're going to have this sacred heart opening. We're going to do a ritual around this, okay? So it's very experiential. And we're creating this dynamic where the divine flows the vibration of intimacy through the wounded heart so that you can feel the sweetness again, the tenderness. You kind of reset yourself, okay? And so all of the bruised, shattered, broken, raw pieces are going to be accounted for and acknowledged. And Archangel Metatron, if you have fallen in love with Archangel Metatron and Metatron's cube like I have, please do this because they are magnificent. The vibrations that they bring, and what we're doing is bringing you to this authentic self, right? You, having been run by your personas, have lost yourself. And we've got to have you show up now authentically. And that's how you create real, long-lasting intimacy, all right? It's not some kind of, fluttering, thing that I'm talking about that's woo-woo. It is real, it is beautiful, it is deep, and it is true. And sometimes when you're that authentic, you draw through your being an absolute truth vibration that is so profound that it supports you in doing, not just being in a relationship, but doing life in a way that literally is just like, oh my God, you're synchronistic. You are living that synchronistic life. It's profound. It's beautiful. Okay. There's a fullness of love. So I want you to look on the page and I want you to see as we go into the depth of your heart field, we're shifting this kind of loss of joy, protective mechanisms, defensiveness, unworthiness, deep sadness, unforgiveness, the lack of love for wanting to be around people, right? Shifting any kind of bitterness, sarcasm, negativity, suppressed anger, revenge, all this craziness, right, that is in there. We're going to clear that, okay? You'll also have some supportive audios, the infinite activation sessions. I'll let you guys read about those. But let me tell you, oh, my gosh, this is about love. It's about passion. It's about being able to prosper. That energy, when you align your sacred heart with the sacred womb, and you've got your masculine and feminine in order and in balance, you can give birth and create anything. It is power. It's the power that created the universe, okay? So we've got to go in and start to infuse your being and have you shift so that you start to even know what it feels like. What does love even feel like? Not false love, right? But real love, and activate the passion, okay? And that helps you begin to prosper. Now, one thing I want to make sure that you guys know is that we have Angie, and oh my gosh, she is this amazing Angie Higgle, and she is going to be offering right here, well, I'm offering it for you, but she has allowed me to offer it on here, a private one-on-one session. And this is very powerful. Now, Angie and I are very close. I send a lot of people to her because of her strong, beautiful balance of masculine and feminine energy. Some of you may have felt her energy if you did Soulmate Alchemy. She actually did that with me and was my partner on doing that class as well. She's an Academy Master Teacher. She's an NLP Master. She has done Huna, and she will bring for you a very loving masculine container, right? In other words, she doesn't mess around. but she will tell you the truth in a loving way that your feminine will actually start to heal, but your own masculine will step up, right? And that's what we want. And her passion is about authenticity. So I just thought, if you know that you want one-on-one care with this and you want to be served in that private session, Angie is the person for you, okay? She has this soul integration session where she will literally go in and identify the inauthenticities that, you know, that are even hidden from you, that you can't get yourself. Very intuitive. She's going to do your authentic self soul integration session. So if you're saying, hey, Christel, yeah, I love I love the group. I love being on and getting those intuitive readings and being held and guided through the process, but I also want a one-on-one session. This is who we're bringing to you today that is awesome. She has amazing talents, and you're going to feel loved, but you're also going to be like, yes, okay? So that's what we've put together for you. And, of course, in my heart is saying, please do this because I want to bring you through the pain. And even if you're not in a state right now where you are in pain with your heart, if you feel like, Christel, I want to go to that next level of loving myself, of being intimate with the divine, of activating, that special womb space and feeling that intimacy, then I invite you in, because this is about soul communion, first and foremost. Getting to the taste of divine love, feeling the juiciness of passion and allowing yourself to prosper in the areas of life, not just in love relationships. Okay?
Thank you. Wow, beautiful, beautiful offer. Well, great. So let me ask you this, Christel. You spoke about this, and I wrote it down. You spoke about communication. Talking about communication in relationship and in whatever context you want to present that in, but how important is communication for intimacy?
Oh, yeah, very important, of course. Yeah, it's right up there. And, we have to learn how to connect with our own masculine and feminine and discover this way of dialoguing, right? This is when, I was awakened in the middle of the night, and I started seeing the energy. It's like this crisscrossing, this back and forth. And, a lot of us, we understand that, and we've heard, okay, our 7 chakras and the Kundalini needs to, move through like these snakes, moving around and crisscrossing. Well, what we have to do is we have to look at the masculine and feminine within this dance of communication. Otherwise, it's not going to move up. We're not going to come to a place of enlightenment, right? We're all here to evolve, but we have to start at that root chakra, and we have to get that energy moving in and activated in that sacral chakra in order for ourselves to open that heart. And so the communication is so very important. So first and foremost, we need that between our own masculine and feminine. They're showing up internally. And if you don't have the solid structure for communication, then your masculine and feminine can't become intimate. What that's going to do is it's going to feel like you're empty. It's going to feel like something's missing within you, within your life. You're going to at times feel hollow. And you're going to feel unlovable. You might even go into states of depression at times. And then you kind of freak out sometimes. You're like, am I ever going to have true love? Am I ever going to experience it in this lifetime? And I also want to say that what comes out is a feeling of desperation, right? So we have to be practiced in bringing these two together, speaking from the depth of our truth, feel that full self-expression because of the worthiness. So we go from wounded heart to this worthy heart, you see? We start to feel a sense of strength within ourselves. There's a light that goes on, and we know how to be with and hold that light. We don't want to withhold our energy, right? We don't want to withhold our communication. We don't want to withhold our truth because that will shut us down. We want to be able to hold the light and channel the light of truth through our being. And that's what we're doing in the Course. So we can have a healthy partnership. We can feel true love and intimacy and feel connection, really deep connection.
Thank you. I want to get to readings in just a minute, but I've got one more question around, our past. And, how does our past, and, maybe rejection or betrayal or, just deep hurt really play a role in a person not opening up to intimacy that might be here for us?
I think it can be haunting, I think what happens is it creates distance rather than closeness. And I think that sometimes we allow those situations and events from the past to mold us, right? Especially if we are very sensitive. That's why we talk about it crushed my heart. It's like I can literally see a person flattened out when they say that. When they say that to me. He stabbed me in the heart. These sayings that we have, this is actually what happens energetically for us. And how do we pick ourselves back up? How do we move on? And, some of us take that, it crushed my heart, and we respond to rejection in that way, or we respond to a dissolution of a relationship or a divorce in that way. And some of us try to be strong, we're like, no, I'm strong, I got to keep going. But we harden our hearts, you see? So both of these ways of responding actually damage. It's like it shuts you down. It damages the heart chakra. If you have an intention of being in unity, being in oneness, being in this place of real acceptance of love, that vibration that I talk about, the sacred heart, open love, then we have to look at the things that you're doing that kill intimacy, right? Because we want you to be bonded. We want you to have this intimate bond with yourself and with the divine. And we want you to be able to carry that into a relationship. But in most relationships, there's emotional manipulation, there's judgment, lack of, respect for each other, right? Low self-esteem, being run by a fear of, I'm going to lose this person, no sense of collaboration, right? So those things, if you don't feel like you're a part of a team in relationship and you're in an intimate relationship because someone's selfish or someone's just doing things for themselves, that kills intimacy. Being overly obsessive about little things, nitpicking, overly controlling, right? Or like I was saying earlier, competition. Is it always a game? I got to win. So there's a lot of issues with, trying to, position yourself with posturing. And we have to look deep into our own self. We're not controlling. We're not able to have someone else shift unless we shift ourselves. When we shift ourselves, we shift the dynamic. It shifts everything. And that's the possibility. So we really want to be in that space of communion, soul communion, love of self. Bring up the energy. Take the time to do this. Once you get it done and once you really click into this, everything, your whole life begins to unfold in such a different way. It's beautiful. It's magical even. And it's what you've been looking for. It really is. This is where you begin.
Ah, lovely, lovely. Thank you. So let's go and do some more readings. I'm going to start with the web. In fact, this is Carol from San Francisco. We tried to get her earlier on the phone, but she was busy.
Oh, yes. All right. So just looking in, so what I'm seeing is energetically it's off kilter. Masculine needs to be around 40 to 45% ultimately. And so that means feminine needs to be, around that 60% mark, right? 55 to 60%. And so right now what we're seeing is that the masculine is too engaged, right? It's like it wants to run the show at times, and it kind of shuts up your feminine.
Thank you. Okay, so this is Naoko from North Hollywood. If you can do a reading for Naoko, please.
Okay, got it. So just connecting into your higher self. So what we're seeing is your feminine is in desperation, right? And this whole feminine persona that's in desperation, she's trying to grasp at things outside of her. And she doesn't feel comfortable being strong in her own body and bringing the light through, right? And we're going to be practicing in this program how to bring the light through, how to channel it. And so let me see when this feminine persona, this desperate one, was created. Okay, it was created after birth, and I see around 5 to 6 years old. She's desperate for that love and attention and looking for that outside of herself.
Thank you. Colleen from Windsor, Nova Scotia. Can you please read her shadow masculine feminine?
Okay, yeah. So just looking at the shadow masculine and seeing what's happening here is the giving up. And so it's a back and forth of like giving up, wanting to, and then giving up, wanting to, and giving up. So it keeps the pendulum swings. But that giving up persona of the masculine, let's see. Okay, before birth. Okay, so this is in the womb, and let's see how many weeks or months. So it's so it's 7 weeks inside the womb is when that was created.
Thank you. Okay, Dave from Northbrook. Could you please read his masculine feminine shadow?
Yeah, so just taking a look and seeing what's going on here. All right, so this is an unworthiness, not getting the acknowledgement. And so what's happening is your feminine is actually closed down and not acknowledging your own masculine. So he's saying, what's the use? Why should I keep going? All right, so that's the dynamic. And so this masculine, what's the use? Why should I keep going? Let me check and see when that was created. Before birth. It's a genealogical issue, father's side, and we're looking at 6 generations back.
Okay, thank you. Susan from Huntingtown, same thing, masculine, feminine shadow.
Okay, let's just see here. All right, so what we're looking at, is I see your feminine's trying to get your masculine's attention, okay? I literally see her like with a lasso, like trying to lasso him even and reel him in, like she's trying to get attention. She doesn't feel like she's getting the attention that she deserves and needs, okay? This stems from a deep groove of a wounded heart from a past life relationship where that you didn't get that. And let's see how many past lives ago. Okay, so 4 past lives ago is when that dynamic happened.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to switch back to live. So I'm going to be calling on Cheryl from Davidson, North Carolina. So get ready, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good to connect with you here. I've been seeing you on our Facebook group. How cool are you?
Yes.
Talking.
Yeah, so you did a session with me last week with the implant removal.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. And then we had the soul illumination a couple of weeks before that.
Yeah, baby. We're rocking and rolling.
And now you have a free reading right now.
Yes, I'm excited.
Okay, so let me just take a look here and see your masculine and feminine and what's going on here. Okay, so feminine is starting to really come out. She is starting to take these steps. What I see is there's still a bit of insecurity in her because there's this big light. She's looking up. It's like a big light beam coming down, and then she stops it. Wait. Am I really ready for this? Am I really ready for this? So she's stopping the light coming in because she's not sure of how she can handle it. Okay? So let's see when that persona was created. Before birth, past life, 28 past lives ago. Okay? And it's a fear, like too much too soon. Although what I can tell you is there's another part of you that's been like, okay, come on, let's get on with this. And I think that part is your masculine. Okay? But your feminine, we really have to work on her and let the light come in. Let it penetrate you, right?
Is this related to procrastination? Because I really feel like I battle with procrastination.
That's what it is.
All the time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because so what's happening is when your feminine is putting her hands up and saying, stop the light, and can I really handle this? It's literally stopping, and that's what procrastination is. It's stopping. Doesn't allow you to move forward, okay? So that's the one that you're going to want to work on, all right? Let's get her, open you up, let the light in. Let yourself be animated by that light and moved into action, okay? Great.
So what do I need to do on my end?
You've got to do an integration. That's what we're talking about. In the program, the personas and doing the soul integration. So you can get that session with Angie, and she'll take you through the soul integration and literally work on that aspect with you.
Oh,
got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Nicole on Bakersfield, California. Well,
hello. Hi.
Howdy.
Hi, Christel. It's wonderful to talk with you. Same as everyone, that masculine, feminine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's just check to see here what's going on. So something has happened where you've been betrayed in the past. And remember when I talk about betrayal, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a love relationship, but it could be. Your masculine is hurt by this, okay? He's really hurt. And he's trying to overly protect your feminine and not get you into situations where she could be hurt again. Okay? So what I'm seeing is your masculine pull out a knife out of the back of your own feminine, right? She was stabbed, like betrayal, okay? Stabbed in the back. So I see him reaching for that knife, starting to pull that out. So I want you to continue with the visualization. What we've got to do is we have to have him give your feminine permission to love again. Let him heal so he's not holding grudges. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in.
Explains that pain.
Much love. Okay. Well, everyone, our show is coming to an end. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Oh, my gosh, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
so
everyone. So, Christel,
thank you so much. Yes.
I was just going to ask if you had some final words as we wrap up.
Well, yeah, I want to encourage everyone. I just want everyone, if we can really just get into the space right now, just feel. I want you to feel that you can come inside, intimacy, right, into me, right, and see inside, see yourself. Really start to close your eyes now. Bring your attention out of the mind. Let yourself come into the heart. And for those of you that like to feel, put your hands on your heart. Feel your heartbeat right now. Your heart needs love and attention. Your heart wants to be open and receptive. It wants to feel you and that sense of self so that you know that you're safe. Your masculine is there to be healed so that he can support you. Your feminine needs to know that he's there, and she can feel safe to be radiant, to shine the light. That's what we're here for. We receive. We receive. So I am an open channel for this divine love, divine light. I am available to receive. I'm a beautiful, brilliant lighthouse. Right? Allow yourself to be in that place just for this moment. Feel any parts of you that need this, that truly need that attention. Let yourself discover those aspects, those personas that need to be healed. And make a commitment right now that you are bringing forth your truth, that you are authentic. You're not artificial. You're not here to live out being someone that you think someone else wants you to be. This is about the dynamic you, the truth of you. So making that commitment, sending yourself love. I absolutely want to see you on those calls. It would be my pleasure to serve you in that way. So we can really rock it out. Feel the love, amp it up, feel the vibrations, and to heal that wounded heart and to get you to that worthy heart. Okay, blessings, everyone. Love you so much. Blessings.
Thank you all. And thank Divine Mother, Divine Father, Mother Earth, Father Son, all the beautiful divine beings of love, light, power, and service, all of our spirit guides and angels, all the beings who have supported us and who continue to support us. Thank you, and thanks to everyone here tonight. Okay, take care.